Today I'm going to try to draw another coastal view on Jeju Island, South Korea. And I'm going to start by doing something I was unsure about in a previous video, but thanks to some internet sleuthing, I've learned a thing or two. Well, just one thing. Take it easy. Uh, I watched a video of someone drawing a church. I wish I remembered who it was. I'll definitely write it down next time. But before they drew the church, they blocked in all of the surrounding elements, like trees and bushes, and left the primary subject for last. According to them, the reason that they did this was to ensure that the thing that had the strictest proportions sat in the frame properly. I'm extrapolating on this a bit, but I take that to mean the trees and bushes don't need to match or even necessarily resemble their references as much. But a subject like a person or a building probably should. So here I've put some simple marks down and gone ahead and drawn the trees and whatnot. So as I get to that rocky obelisk in the middle, I have things against which to measure it. Had I started with the middle and worked my way out, I might have made it too big for the frame. That wouldn't be an issue if it was intentional. But had I drawn it too big for the trees that framed the drawing to fit, it would have been purely accidental. I wanted to capture the entire scene here, unlike yesterday with the lamp. It was just the lamp. So I'm really glad I did a little bit of research so that I didn't make a big mistake like that in the beginning. Other than these 3 or 4 simple shapes that you see, it feels like everything here is pretty textural. Do I know what to do with all that texture? We know that I do not. I spent all that time looking into order of operations and couldn't even spare a second for texture. What a shame. I'm also stuck on the same question from yesterday, which was how to shade over texture, or vice versa. At this point in the drawing, I have everything drawn as these big blocks, but I'm unsure of exactly what next step to take. But here, I'm kind of going with shading, I guess. But just kidding. I don't know even what I'm doing here. I guess I'm trying to get the branches of these little trees. But I really don't know how to do that. I guess I could probably do one of the trees, but this big mass of texture, I'll say it again, with all these leaves and all these branches and, whatever else is down there, just this like undergrowth, just I have no idea what to do with that other than squiggle a bunch of lines. Right now, though, I do feel kind of confident with shading in that bottom area of the rock in the middle. I can see with my eyes that it's quite a bit darker than the rest of it. So I feel relatively confident in shading that in and adding the little top bit. But yeah, so something I've thought about a lot is how much shading do I actually do while I'm out here doing these drawings? How deep into a single drawing should I go? I really like the idea of making these videos around about 10 minutes, mostly because any more than that would, I think, be pretty hard for me to handle on this daily schedule. I'd love to keep these daily. So far, we're hitting that goal. But I really, really don't want to burn myself out unnecessarily. Yeah, wow, you see the bark there on the trees. I'm not sure where I'm going to go with that, but now I'm just shading that tree, so maybe I've given up on the bark. Anyway, yeah, as far as the daily basis is concerned, it's not that I don't have the time to sit and shade and whatever. But I guess I could just sit here and do everything I possibly can to finish the drawing to the best of my ability, whatever that means. But that's not really my goal. Um, and this will be a running theme. I'll be talking about my goals a lot probably in the next few videos, but and maybe it's counterproductive, and maybe I'll change my mind in another few days, but I want to be reasonably quick with these. Plus, and maybe this is just an excuse, if I spend a lot of time building bad habits, which I'm surely displaying on screen right now, it'll be more difficult for me to break them, I think. I want to learn from a lot of this in the field practice, but I also don't want to bog myself down with overly drawn out drawings, no pun intended. I guess I'm just trying to do now what I would like to do later. If I want to be good at drawing a scene in give or take those 10 minutes, maybe that's what I should practice. Instead, if I go out and try my best to draw every single little detail exactly as it is, unlike what I'm doing right now, in the hopes that I'll progress more wholly, I might lose interest in the whole thing. I am one to do that. And we do not want that. All that makes sense to present me. But like I said, we'll see how that logic holds up. I think, don't they have something like that in the military where, they want kids who've never shot a gun before or whatever? They don't want to have to break bad habits. And neither do I. What's catching my eye right now is the trees. That's exactly what I've been talking about recently. Any texture I might add, I feel like I'm just lazily drawing over. They need to be the darkest part of the drawing. I recognize that. I can see that just standing there. So I should really get in there and darken them as much as possible to make sure there are these, deep dark frames around the drawing, to make sure that they don't look like they're part of all the rest of it, I guess. Because like this, they kind of just look like sort of squiggly mistakes. That said, I think this one might actually resemble its reference the most compared to the last few drawings. I think this one looks most like its reference. It does vaguely look like a big rock in the water. Does it look like water though? I don't know. It's sort of a blank area. But at the end of the day, I think you can tell that something is on the sides, something is on the bottom, and you're looking through those things to see maybe a rock in the water. I feel like if I flip this upside down, it would be almost impossible to tell. But I'm not drawing upside down, so shut up. Anyway, I really appreciate you watching these. I have not checked how many subscribers I have, if any. But if you're watching, sincerely, thank you. All right, see you tomorrow.